Hi, welcome to Newsmakers with Garrecht Gassen. I'm Sarah from the Star's editorial department. I'm a columnist and editorial writer, and I'm here with State Senator David Bradley to talk about something that's been in the news a lot over the past several months, always perennial in the news, but it's really heated up, and that's child welfare and how we take care of children who are in danger of being abused or neglected in their families. So thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me, Sarah.
David, you have a long history of professional experience in the child welfare area. Can you talk a bit about what experience you bring to your legislative work?
Sure. Yeah, I've been involved in child welfare and mental health services in Southern Arizona for about almost 35 years now, starting out as a therapist in a psychiatric facility and then eventually running a psychiatric facility and then becoming the director. Actually, I worked for CPS for a little while, and then I took over a child welfare agency that ran group homes and foster homes for kids.
So looking forward, the state budget, which Governor Brewer signed, is $9.2 billion. That's B with a billion with a B. And she wanted $80 million to build or rebuild a new child and family services kind of department.
Right. Yes.
And how did that turn out?
Well, I think it's a little bit in abeyance because the issue was kind of set aside in a certain sense because there's what the governor proposed in her State of the State was to create a whole new department. But by executive order, she pulled CPS, Child Protective Services, out of the Department of Economic Security and created a separate new division, which she could do, but she couldn't legally create a department because that required legislative action.
And what's the difference? I mean, what, practically speaking, would this do, and how would it change things?
Yeah, I think I supported this notion because I think it brings focus to children's issues. My kind of view of it is even broader than the current plan, but I think it will bring focus and specific resources to CPS that have been missing in the past. And I think it'll be helpful in the long run. There's going to be other states have done this, and it takes anywhere from a year to 3 years to do this well. So I have no sense of urgency in terms of creating the department. I want it created well and done well. And what we're currently proposing to do, to get back to your original question about the budget, is that the governor and legislature will likely, the governor will call us back for special session. I'm hoping it's a few months out. People are talking about it being in May, but which I think is too quick. But the goal would be to create this new department, which will report directly to the governor henceforth.
And will the governor, or will the legislature be able to allocate more money for this department, or are they capped at that $59 million?
They can allocate more money. They're not capped by that. The budget can always be changed in special session. And I think everyone recognizes that there is going to be a cost. Now we're going to debate probably what that cost is, but I think it's pretty commonly accepted that we can't do this on the cheap anymore. And then we have to do it well.
So do you have any sense of what what this kind of new agency might look like? Because the legislature, if it is created, does have to pass legislation. What is on the table?
Yeah, in many ways it'll look similar to what CPS was doing. It'll just be kind of separated out. I think there's going to be a greater emphasis on the whole intake process, more resources brought to the intake process, and hopefully more resources brought to prevention. That's really been the key element. And when I was in the legislature in the 2007, 8, and 9, when these cuts were being made, we said on the floor of the Senate and the House that we were going to pay the piper, and we're paying the piper now. So some of this stuff that's happened, it was no big surprise when we cut off the front end of services. The system is always under stress. It's always been difficult to do this and to do it well. And when the economy tanked, it made it even that much more worse. And at the very wrong time, we cut resources to make it even more worse. And so that's the challenge that we're dealing with right now.
So, Senator Bradley, some of your career was spent going into homes of people, families in crisis that had been been part of a report saying that a child could be in danger of neglect or abuse. Can you talk about what is that like?
Sure. Every situation is a little bit different, but there are some commonalities to it. It often is a function of sometimes the immaturity of a parent or an individual who's a young parent or a person who never witnessed good parenting, and so was kind of making it up as they went. So when we go into homes, in those cases, what we would try to figure out is this family connected to anyone? Is anybody else going to see this child? Does the person recognize that what happened wasn't a good thing, and has some sense of like this was wrong and I need help, and is willing to accept that help? And if the answers to those questions were yes, then we would very likely leave that child there, but we would bring in supports. We'd bring in random kind of checks on the child, give some parenting training, and other resources that we would provide. And much of that was cut off so that when a caseworker went in now, they went in by themselves and they had to make this decision. And the decision they're going to do, oftentimes, or take, is I'm taking this child because I don't have any resources to bring into this family. So I can't risk figuring out whether or not this parent gets it or not. I'm going to take this child and then we'll figure it out. And that's one of the reasons why we've had so many children taken from their homes most recently.
Well, thank you very much for sharing your experience with us and your insight on the legislature. Thanks for watching. I'm Sarah Garrecht Gassen. See you next time.